Afternoon to all. Am I audible to all? We have muted everyone. To avoid disturbance, we have muted everyone. At the end of the session, I'm going to unmute all for questionnaire. Friends, wish you all a very happy Ramzan in advance. Today's session would be a wonderful session because life isn't about waiting for storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. Friends, let's evoke our memories as beginners in practice. When do we call a person sick? When his inner silence is broken. Then the harmony of the body is disturbed. That is the vital force we call. Be it an emotional trauma, a physical trauma, or an mental trauma. Friends, homeopathic science is not that of dualistic medical model. It is fully realized system based on the empirical dialectical understanding of interwoven cause and effect, balance, rebalance, logic, counter-logic, and art of science. Friends, I am proud to be standing before you. This is all with my teachers who have put me so tall before you all. Today, if Dr. Gayatri Devi or Dr. Gayatri's homeopathy is established and is able to serve people, it is all because of my teachers who are even very humble even today. They just come to our rescue whenever we ask them anything. Friends, our experienced teachers have given us such a magnificent cases with evidence after prescribing how the well-being of the patient is established after prescribing the medicine. What is yin? What is yang? What is evil? What is good? What is bad? Many more things like this. Friends, I take the privilege of seeing my teacher sitting right before me, and I would like, he needs no introduction, of course. He is Dr. Janardhan Reddy sir. He needs no introduction. I know you all know him well. He is the person who is teaching homeopathy since 50 years. He is been decorating the chair in many positions, designations, from medical officer, lecturer, professor, assistant professor, professor, and additional director, principal too of the college. Friends, I again say, my teacher, Dr. Janardhan Reddy sir, is going to teach us how to prescribe the art of living and art of prescription, which is very important in homeopathy. Sir Janardhan Reddy sir, his lectures are being pan below, heard by the people, seen by the people pan below. Dr. Janardhan Reddy sir, I would request you to unmute your audio and please start the session. I welcome everyone for Dr. Janardhan Reddy sir's session. Sir, unmute your, it is on the left side bottom. Unmute. Sir, you are, please press the unmute button. Okay.
Ah, okay, done.
Yeah.
Are you able to listen?
It is audible right now, sir. It's audible.
Okay, are you able to listen?
Namaskaram, sir.
Namaskaram, Amma. Vinapadtunda?
Viనిపిస్తుంది. I welcome.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, can I speak now?
Yes, sir. Please, please.
That's wonderful. Dr. Gayatri, host of today's webinar, and dear friends, I cannot name anybody as I am unable to know who are all attending. It is for the first time I am speaking on the web. So, Doctor, are you able to listen?
Sir, there are already 95 participants listening to you.
Oh, wonderful. It's great. Okay. So, Dr. Gayatri is very enthusiastic and helping natured girl. And always she wants to do something for the society which benefits. So since Dr. Gayatri's name also goes with one sloka, Gayatri mantra. So we start with that. Dhiyo yonah prachodayat. So this is part of the sloka or last stanza of the sloka. Dhiyo means buddhi, intellect. So we pray the sun god to brighten our intellect or illuminate the intellect so that we can experience the truth. Truth is ultimate. But in order to experience the truth, understand the truth, or visualize the truth, we should have the grace of the God. So the sun god who illuminates the entire planet and the cosmos is being prayed that we should have a proper intellect, proper understanding, proper memory. Otherwise, things will go wrong. There will be one subject we will be reading or seeing and trying to understand, but unless your intellect is bright, proper, you cannot understand the truth. So why there are so many variations when somebody speaks, when people speak about the subject? Because we understand things in our own way. For lack of proper intellectual understanding, so that is the problem. So usually the tamasic people, they understand things totally in a distorted way. There will be some subject and people understand something which is not there at all. And the rajasic people, those who are hyperactive, they understand partly correct, partly incorrect. And only the sattvic people, sattva, they can understand the truth as it is. That's why we always pray the Gayatri Mata or the sun god to give as proper or the bright or illuminating intellect so that we can understand the world as it is. So the world is created by our own mind. I see the world in one way and you see the world in your own way because of your intellectual understanding about the world around us. For example, there is a bottle of alcohol. So the views about that alcoholic bottle will vary. Those who have got craving for the alcohol, they grab the bottle and they want to open it. And those who do not have any idea about alcohol, they look it without any emotional attachment or they ignore simply about it. So that's why our way of understanding about everything will vary according to our own memory. So memory doesn't mean memories. Memories means the idea about our, uh, seeing and remembering things. So about certain events, certain illustrations we see and we understand. The memory or the intellect means the recording about the incident and the memory which we had in the past. So we say these memory or memories are also vasanas. The vasanas will always project our emotions, our likes and dislikes. So the biggest problem with the human mind is the intellect, intellectual understanding about the things around us. So that is why even in our Materia Medica, we people understand in our own way. In our memory, what exists will not be the same for others. You do not use the memory, but memory uses you. The problem is we feel that we are using our mind and memory. But when our emotions are very strong, when our likes are very strong, when our desires are very strong, we are being used by our memory. We are under the control of our memory. All the desires are born out of memory. So, because in your memory, certain things have been programmed in a craving way or in a hatred way. Whatever your mind has recorded for the strong desires, only those things you would like to fulfill all the time. Desire for pleasure and fear of pain. Always human mind has got desire for pleasure and fear of pain. We always want to avoid the pain. So if you want to avoid the pain, then you should not indulge in the things which give you pleasure. There's only the way to escape the pain or escape from the fear of pain. Here we can go for one drug, tuberculinum. In tuberculinum, he has got plenty of desires. In Materia Medica, it has been described as cosmopolitan temperament with premature intellect, precocious intelligence. Precocious intelligence is being used or has been used in the textbook of Materia Medica. So with the cosmopolitan temperament. So because this maturity or mental understanding is very high, a person, even at the age of 8, or a girl age about 8 or 9, she knows what she should know about the body and mind, about the romance or sex. So that's why, because of their precocity, they want to indulge in various pleasures earlier in their life. It has been reported once that a girl of 11 years old, she had become mother. And again, her daughter, at the age of 12, she has become a mother. So that means this girl of tubercular nature had become grandmother at the age of 22 or 23. So precociousness means the understanding about the things much earlier than what you are expected to understand. So cosmopolitan means that the person has got the desires to be fulfilled in various fields with various objects. Suppose you have got a beauty, I mean, excellent, what I say, you have got to open a clinic as a doctor. But at what particular place you start your practicing, but after some time you get bored at that place and you want to open another clinic. So there are some doctors you find usually they will have many clinics. So you cannot label everybody like a tuberculum, but most of the people, those who have multiple clinics, one at Hyderabad, one at Vizag, one at Delhi, or in Hyderabad, several areas, several clinics. So they want to have that sort of change, something new. So that is the problem. So their desires, so gratify. So they want to gratify their desires, but unfortunately, there's no end because they want to have always something new. Suppose he has got a girlfriend. So he's not happy with one girlfriend. Always will be changing the girls. You will be changing the spouses. You will be changing the profession. You will be changing the home. You will be changing the friends. He has got many desires to be fulfilled, but he will never reach the final goal because always he will be changing, and changing. That is the nature of the tubercular. Tubercular person is a genius, but eccentric, a genius, but pervert, a genius, but cannot be happy by leading a normal or routine life. That's why the desires are always born out of memory. So this memory is there in his mind since the past several births, or it has been there genetically, whatever it is. So the memory, you have got various types of memory. You have got physical memory, means your appearance. You have got suppose blue eyes. These blue eyes are you are inherited from your mother or father, and long nose, depressed nose, bald head. So whatever it is there, these things have been inherited from the parents. These are called physical memory. Then intellectual memory, emotional memory, psychological memory, genetic memory, karmic memory. So these are all things. So this memory has to be brightened. This memory has to be illuminated in a proper way, in a sattvic way, for which Gayatri Mata, our sun God. That's why this mantra, Gayatri mantra, is very famous, but its meaning we do not know. The biggest problem for the human being is a compulsive way of life. What is meant by compulsive way of life? We become slaves to our way of life. That is, all the rapes, murders, robberies, and addictions. These are all the things because of compulsive way of life. A person who indulges in crime, he knows that he will be punished, but he is helpless. He has been forced by his intellect to indulge in crime, to indulge in rape, to indulge in murder, to indulge in robbery, to have a vice or addiction for alcohol, or addiction for girls, addiction for tobacco. So he is helpless. So this is the problem for the human mind. Most of the people are very intelligent, very hardworking, but the success eludes them because they are not aware of their way of life. Hence, the compulsive life has to be replaced by conscious way of life. You should be aware what your mind is thinking, what thoughts are you are getting. That's most important. So you should be able to understand the process of thoughts, the thinking process of your own. We are not aware. While I'm talking, I'm not aware how my hands are moving, how my head is moving, how I'm raising my eyebrows. So if I'm aware of all my movements in my body, if I'm conscious of them, that is called staying in the present, or I'm conscious of my talking and whatever I'm thinking, I'm conscious of it. Otherwise, the most of the people, those who are compulsive, they indulge in various activities without controlling their impulses, and they pay the price. For example, in our Medica, there are many patients. Almost all constitutional remedies have got compulsive life. For example, we go for Naxwamika, which is very common remedy. Naxwamika has got the biggest problem for Naxwamika is impatience, intolerance. So see, we say angry, irritable, all these things, impulsive. These things are the products of intolerance. Basically, you should have tolerance. When you are tolerant, when you have patience,
You are muted,
then,
press Alt.
sorry. So when you have got intolerance, then the products of this intolerance come out or manifest in the form of anger. So in order to contain his restlessness of the mind, is a fast mind or is a way of life, he starts indulging in various activities like alcohol, woman. So again, he wants to gratify desires, but nothing can give you happiness because happiness is from within. If you search for happiness in the world outside, it is elusive. You cannot get happiness from within. From without. Only from inside. The joy, the happiness will come when your mind is quiet, when you are desireless, when you know that nothing can give you happiness whichever there in the world. All the objects in the world are perishable. Happiness is permanent. Joyfulness is permanent. A permanent state cannot be given by an object which is perishable and imperfect and which is transient and temporary on the planet. So that's why the happiness should be within. So that means you have to be free from desires and the gratification with the objects from outside. So that's most important. So because this Nakswamika has got intolerance, no patience, so he is this sort of intolerance, this sort of emotional imbalance, the craving for the pleasure from, seeking pleasure from the objects from outside will reflect on his physique in the form of irritable bowel syndrome, urge for stools frequently. He goes to the toilet, pain abdomen, and he goes to the toilet and little flatus or the stool relieves him. So comes out. Again, after some time, he runs to the toilet. Frequent urge for the stool. It's a sign of the mind. There's nothing wrong in the body. Though he consumes alcohol, coffee, tea, condiments, and spicy food, these things are not the major cause for his irritable bowel syndrome or frequent urge for the stools. It is the mind, it is the restlessness, it is the anger, it is the irritability, it is his way of life. So that's why most of the diseases are psychogenic. There is no disease which will manifest or arise in the physics. They always arise in the mind and manifest in the physics. So everything, all somatization is nothing but a psychic reflection. That's how we have to understand. That is why homeopathic treatment is permanent, because we treat the mind, we treat the subject as a whole. We never treat the body alone. We just see temperament. All the time I will be talking about the temperament. So every drug has got its own temperament. Sulfur also is very aggressive. Why Nakswamika and sulfur are complementary? There is no relationship because this is from volcano. Sulfur is a mineral. Nakswamika is a plant. But both are complementary for each other because the temperaments are similar. Sulfur, whenever is objected, sulfur, whenever is criticized, he rebels. He explodes like a volcano. He doesn't spare anybody. And the anger, the irritability, aggressiveness is much more than Nakswamika. So he rebels, he criticizes, he doesn't spare even his superiors. That's why the rate of success for the sulfur is very, very limited, though he's a creative genius. It doesn't follow the rules of the place where he practices, where he works. So that's why his success is less. And society is always afraid of him. Society doesn't like him because he talks, or it appears that he talks all nonsense, and because he doesn't have any love or care or any sort of regard for the society. He's a regardless fellow. As the volcano, as the lava of the volcano can dissolve everything, it has got no regard for even the stones and the plants and the earth. So the person of sulfur doesn't have any regard for anybody around him. That's one factor. Another factor is the same thing. Sulfur is eruptions. So he erupts, skin erupts. It's very hot, like a volcano. It's burning like volcano. So everything is similar to volcano. So Nakswamika is irritable, angry, aggressive, and sulfur also. Sulfur is a mineral. Nakswamika is a plant. Nakswamika is complemented by sulfur in many complaints, especially irritable bowel syndrome and most of the psychological complaints. So the compulsive life has to be replaced by conscious way of life. So my heading is the art of living, the art of prescribing for art of living. Prescription means not the medicine alone, the principles of life. There are certain norms you have to follow. So in order to lead the happy life or joyful life, number one, we should be free from compulsive life. That's number one. Number two, the desire should be under control, for which it's very, we have to discuss a bit more, and if time permits, we'll discuss about that. Then the most important thing is we have to respond instead of not reacting. For most of the times, whenever there is an issue around us, we react, but we don't respond, especially with the spouse. You feel that you have got a right to react against your spouse. That's why the most of the marital problems will come. So when he says something, she says no. When she says something, he says no. So there is no compatibility. There is no tolerance because human mind is always negative. So we say no. Suppose I am now lecturing. Dr. Gayatri told I am a teacher with 50 years experience, 50 years practice. But of 95 people have been locked to this system. If somebody says, so whatever you say, I'm unable to understand, then I say, I'm a teacher with 50 years experience, you can't talk like that. It's a reaction. What should be my answer is, my dear friend, whatever I know, I am speaking. Whatever I feel right, I am speaking. And whatever is in my memory, I am speaking. I can't speak more than this. If you cannot understand, I am very sorry, I cannot help you. That should be the response. But we react. No, what do you think of me? I'm a great man. I'm a renowned teacher. So these are reactions. So the reactions should not be there. We have to respond. Response is a positive emotion. Reaction is a negative response. I mean, reaction is a negative reaction. Then acceptance. So various things are happening around us. We don't accept. Now, the biggest problem is coronavirus. When this coronavirus has come, the entire universe is disturbed. And we are asked to lock in ourselves. We are asked not to come out of home. How many of we have accepted this particular prohibition or whatever the restriction? So there is a restriction that you should not move out of your home. We have been rebelling. We have been reacting. We have been saying no. So with that, what is happening? Our blood pressure is shooting up. Our diabetes levels, sugar levels increased, and we are sleepless. There are many people, friends, patients, they say they are not getting sleep because they are not getting alcohol, they are not going out, they are not meeting friends, they are not going for a walk, they are not going for a job, their financial problem has come. So we have been not accepting many things in our life. So somebody says, you're an old fellow. We say, no, I'm not old, I'm young enough. So whenever there is something, you have to accept. So I have got one patient. She is 85 years old. She comes, see, today morning also, she called me, but I did not respond because almost every, I said I did not respond, but I did not react also. So every week she calls me, doctor, still my gray hair is not becoming turning black. Still there are nasolabial folds which have not disappeared. Still I am not agile. Still I am not cannot get rid of the wrinkles on face. You cannot get rid of your gray hair, and you cannot become agile. And because this is aging, doctor, 85 is not very old. I would love to spend any amount to make my gray hair into black. I said, I cannot treat you. Please see some other doctor. She said, doctor, I heard about you. You can do miracles. So please treat me. I said, I can treat some of your ailments like cough, cold, fever, and the skin problems, but not these things. She could not compromise, but somehow she has accepted me as her doctor. But every time, whenever she comes, she shows me her gray hair, her this wrinkles on the face. So she is very conscious of her physique. What could be the remedy? The remedy which I have given is arsenicum alb. That has helped her in her skin problems, in her cough, cold, dyspnea, and all these things. So still she is hanging on me with the questions when my hair turns black, when my face becomes very shining, with all these wrinkles should disappear. So these are all the things. So we don't accept. So with that non-acceptance, you are leading restless life, anxious life, and your life will be miserable. Whatever happens around us, we should gracefully accept because it's inevitable. And frequently, we heard very painful statement from one Uttar Pradesh leader. He said, "You should accept rape, otherwise you'll be killed." This sort of acceptance is not recommended. So acceptance means what happening things around you should accept. If somebody wants to rape you and you have to accept for your life means you have to resist and run away. So these are all the things sometimes misinterpreted. So response is a acceptance is a positive emotion and non-acceptance is a negative emotion. So acceptance, compulsive life has to be replaced by conscious way of life and respond but do not react. So there are all certain things to lead joyful life. And see, we always say is mind. Mind is like a knife, and needle is like a, needle, heart is like a needle. Sorry, mind is knife, heart is needle. What is meant by that? Mind always dissects. Mind always sees, discriminates. Mind always excludes. Mind says, this is mine, this is yours. So there is no integrity. Mind doesn't allow things to happen in an integrated way. So the heart stitches, heart binds, heart is love, mind is separation. Mind is a negative, whatever the negative emotion, it is from the mind. Whatever the positive emotion you get, it is from the heart. My heart means love. Heart means unity. Hence, heart means expansion. Heart means inclusion. Heart means ours. Mind means mine. Mind means, so this is yours, this is mine. Dissects, partition, and discrimination. So unity is required. So always we should work with the heart. Heart means unity, acceptance, comprehensive life or conscious life. Mind means compulsive life, non-acceptance, and jealousy, hatred, love, kindness, helping nature. These are all of heart. And negativity is from the mind, positivity is from the heart. So develop your heart. If your heart is developed, mind becomes automatically small. When mind develops, heart becomes small. There's no, so this is the law of principle. Expansion and inclusion is love, and contraction and exclusion is hatred. So the exclusion, hatred are all the criteria or the symptoms or the manifestations of the mind. Expansion, inclusion, love, these are all the manifestations from the heart. Past is only living with the dead. Most of us, or most of the people, they live in their past.
Sir,
Because Sir,
We have
okay.
2 minutes. The 40 minutes has completed like this. Another 2 to 3 minutes only.
So how much time we have got?
Another 2 to 3 minutes.
Only 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah. 40 minutes.
Okay, okay.
Done.
Okay, then we will go to Corona.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Yeah, okay, okay.
To put a next session tomorrow, sir. Shall I put a next session tomorrow?
No problem. We will have series of lectures. If our friends they like this lecture,
Yes, sir.
so you take their views and we will have next lecture also. We will have some series of lectures on our way of life and the materia medica, prescription, and how to live a happy life or joyful life. They're all things we will discuss in future.
Friends, we going to have a series of lecture, one after the other, in another 1 or 2 days. The sir has prepared such a basket full of fruits for us with multiple tastes. You will be having all the tastes, sweet, sour, and all. For today, we are going to stop the session and continue it tomorrow. Hope everyone are able to see me. And I welcome Dr. Sajni from London, who has come on to see Sir's lecture and me. Sir, tomorrow, the same time we are going to have a session. You have prepared so nicely, and I